reaction, bro. Now it is that we are also talking about with celebs. When are you going over the confessions? Oh, well, like we've been going over it, but it's just if you want, we could do more confession reading after this after the reaction. I got you. But since it is that we were talking about with celebrities as of right now, shout outs to Patrick CC for dropping a banger on us. You know what I'm saying? How Will Smith forced his son to fail. Now, I hate to say this titling because I feel like it is like I like Will Smith. I don't care what anybody's saying. I know it is that he did one of these, the Chris Rock. Do I feel like it was kind of deserved? Yes, it is. I feel like it was kind of deserved, and it was just like, dang, you didn't have to go really that far, but there is a lining of just like sometimes it is you do need to get G checked, So and then on top of the two, like some of the stuff it is that the skit that Chris Rock was talking about, like a year later, it didn't even hit. The jokes didn't hit, but mm, with his son, ah, I wouldn't say it is that he failed. I think it is like Jaden's focus is definitely something different from what his father is, and there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. Without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get into the damn reaction. How Will Smith forced his son to fail. Let's get into this damn reaction, y'all. Let's do it.
What you are about to see is a 20-second clip that made Jaden Smith the laughingstock of the internet.
Because I was picking up more things from adults than I were from kids my own age. And I look and I go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age and they're just kind of just selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now? Can we talk about what's going on with the environment? Can we talk about...
However, people...
No, bro, we can't talk about it. I mean, I get what it is that he was trying to say. I really do. He was definitely more advanced, and especially being around a lot of celebrities and stuff like that that's older than him. I get the fact that is that he has a level of maturity, but I hate that. Can we talk about why we hate it here? Because I want to go home. Babs, chill.
People choose to ignore the very important context stated right before
shit.
that cringy clip.
Put me like, they would be having a meeting about their next film or something, and they would put me at the head of the table and just make me sit there while they're talk and debate with all these people, talk numbers, talk crazy stuff.
Jaden says he spent more time with adults than children during his youth. He would spend his free time in very important business meetings with his mother and father, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, discussing serious business matters that he barely understood at the time. Jaden's parents never told him no. They allowed him to do anything and everything his heart desired, hoping that it would deepen and strengthen their relationship. They designed a meticulous, calculated plan for Jaden to be born and raised a superstar, and it ended in disaster. By age 15, he wanted to be emancipated from them, got blacklisted from Hollywood, and is hated by everyone on the internet. Most people's first introduction to Jaden was in 2006 during his film debut in the biographical drama, The Pursuit of Happyness. Most young actors start with minor roles.
Listen, that fucking movie, The Pursuit of Happyness, still to this day, bro. If I watch that shit, it will make me cry. That is one of the very few movies. Like I'm not like a movie person to where it is like I be crying and shit like that. Nah, I don't like doing that. The Pursuit of Happyness, because of how like real it is, like it's based off of a true story and based off of like real events and stuff like that. Especially that moment to where it is like him and his son was in the bathroom and whatnot, and then he tried to like lock the shit, with like what I'm saying, with his foot, and just to get somewhere like a roof over head, peace or like, quietness for like a little bit. That one broke me. And at the very end, where it is that he got the job that changed his life, that broke me. Those are the two scenes within that movie that like had your girl like like sobbing type of shit, But W movie though.
To help build their resumes. Jaden's father thought it would be best for his 7-year-old son to join a $55 million budget feature film alongside his dad, but the film producers did not want Jaden as the co-star. The film is inspired by the true story of Chris Gardner, a San Francisco salesman struggling to build a future for himself and his 5-year-old son Christopher. When his girlfriend walks out, Chris is left to raise Christopher on his own. In a movie that centers on a father's relationship with his son, it makes sense to cast an actual father-son duo, and many would argue the decision paid off with the heartfelt film.
Yeah,
However,
I
casting
think it was
Jaden
good.
was not a straightforward decision. In fact, he still had to audition, just like other young actors in contention for the part. In his memoir titled Will Smith explained that director Gabrielle Muccino was having trouble casting the role of Christopher Jr., having auditioned close to 500 child actors. Around that time, Jaden began expressing interest in acting, so Will and Jada consented to their son auditioning for the role. Although Muccino wanted Jaden to portray Christopher Jr., there was some pushback. Will wrote that the Pursuit of Happyness director told him, "I wanted Jaden for this role from the first moment I met him, but the studio forbade me from asking you." The studio felt like it was a death sentence for the film from a marketing standpoint. They felt like people wouldn't be able to suspend disbelief seeing Jaden and you on camera as father and son. The studio also feared their decision would appear as fake.
I feel like that's what made it. I feel like that's what made the dynamic even more powerful. You know what I mean? Like, I get the marketing standpoint of just like, I don't know, it's nepotism technically. I get that, but like that father son relationship was something it is that's already like tight knit as it is outside of the work. I think that's what made the movie the way how it is. It was a hit, a smash hit. You know what I mean? I, Sometimes it is like director's choices. I get that at times. Sometimes it is like it's good suggestions, and then not all of their suggestions is always going to be good suggestions at the end of the day. Sometimes it's they are wrong as well. It's like I can think of plenty other like movie directors or even musical directors that have said, "Oh no, we want to go with this direction, this, and this," and it took to the actors and took the people it is like the rappers, the singers, and everything like that to say, "No, that's not what it is I want to do." To force a change within the direction of the vision, and sometimes it is that's a little hard to do, especially where somebody it is who is a director. They basically want what it is of they see fit for whatever it is that they're doing, like the project they're doing. It's a little that can be challenging at times, but within this movie, it worked. It worked.
Favoritism and preferential treatment, with people crying out nepotism. Finally, Jaden was allowed a screen test alongside Will, which led to Jaden auditioning a total of 9 times, which is very uncommon. The studio simply didn't want the problems that came along with casting him, but audition after audition, in all of his innocent 6-year-old glory, he proved himself the right actor for the role. Many people question if Jaden actually proved himself, or if his father was so steadfast on him securing the role that eventually the studio just gave in. But it really didn't matter, because the film was a hit. Their natural father-son dynamic helped the film gross over $300 million at the worldwide box office, with both Will and Jaden receiving several award nominations. Jaden says his parents never pressured or expected him to follow in their
Listen, after that, I would have been talking my big shit. At 6 years old, I was talking about big shit like, yeah, you made me do all that extra shit. Now look at me. You know what I'm saying?
footsteps. However, he did grow up with a camera in his face. Now, a lot of parents made home videos with their kids, but maybe Will put a little extra focus on it.
My dad would just film me and my sister. And we would make Trade Tricks, Matrix spin-off.
It's not uncommon for celebrities' children to follow the same career path, and he landed another substantial role in the sci-fi film The Day the Earth Stood Still, before securing a surprise guest appearance on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Now imagine every random idea you had as a child. If you were Will Smith's son, he would pour thousands of dollars into whatever your heart desired at that moment. At 10 years old, Jaden wanted to start a water company. Just Water. My man. When I was a kid, I kept seeing discarded water bottles on the ground everywhere, and the amount of waste blew me away. I told my parents that I was passionate about reducing our carbon footprint. For the next 7 years, they developed a planet-friendly water bottle that uses 82% renewable material. Just Water wouldn't be available to the public until 2015. As of 2019, the company has sold its water in stores over 10 countries and over 15,000 retail stores in North America. And they still haven't given me a sponsorship, which makes me extra grateful for today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Get in on the NFL action with their Pick'em game. All you have to do is pick whether your players will have a higher or lower stat total for Week 4 of the NFL season to win big. Just pick between 2 and 5 play rushing yards than 6 field. Sign up on also down in the dollar. Take for week money on the world's money. Make sure you use my code PatrickCC to sign up today. Although Jaden wanted to make an impact on the world, his privilege undoubtedly gave him a sense of superiority. He seemingly forgot that his parents' money funded his business ventures, meaning he didn't need an education like others. He once famously tweeted, "If everybody in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent society." Jaden was homeschooled by his parents in the beginning because his father wanted his kids by his side when he was filming movies. "My kids being with me is of a higher value than sitting in a classroom." Then in 2009, 2010, Will and Jada opened New Village Leadership Academy, a private elementary school in Calabasas, California. Jaden and his sister Willow enrolled at the academy once it was up and operating. According to ABC News, classes consisted of yoga, karate, robotics, technology, math, literacy, Spanish, art, and living skills. As Jaden grew older, he used social media to express his views regarding traditional education.
We're preparing everybody to go to prison through the schools.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, the people that are not doing good in the grades, oh, you're doing like this, oh, you went to the detention, da-da-da-da. There's too many correlations between public schools and prisons.
Jaden has been
Okay, all right. I don't know about that one, gang, because I went to a public school. I didn't have the privilege of going to a private school solely because of the fact that my parents just couldn't afford it. I can't agree with that one wholeheartedly because I can only just be a little bit biased and talk about myself. I myself did not fall down that path of anything that's like that. You know what I'm saying? And I went to a public school. Now, is I hate to say this, but that statement comes off a little alt left, and not in the good type of alt left. That's something it is. I'd see somebody that is a non-melanated person that would say something that's like that. I'm just like, oh, public schools. Oh my God, the public schools are setting people up for disaster. They're setting them up for all these people that's going to be in prisons. It's like that's a very alt left statement to say. That's a bold statement to say. You know what I mean? I can't say it for all of that though, because there's only like a small percentage of people from my high school and from my public school that I went to that even went to jail. You know what I mean? Now there are some knuckleheaded people and stuff like that, but I hold wholeheartedly with my chest. It's not gonna say it's the school that goes ahead and that enforces that. A lot of that stuff is based off of what you got exposed to at home, and people really need to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, where do you think like bullies and all of that stuff? Get all of that stuff, like what makes the psyche of what makes a person a bully at the end of the day is what they got exposed to at home. So I'm gonna wholeheartedly say it is. It's just like he's not wrong, but from my own search, I'm going to base it off of the fact that it's like, listen, it can be school and it can be a lot of what it is that's going on at home that has been either been ignored, neglected, or or something that just hasn't been talked about because how serious it is.
Been crowned the king of I'm 14 and this is deep. Pretty much everyone that has experienced the American education system knows it's not setting us up to be successful
But I can say the education system sucks. It do.
Millionaires. And maybe in theory, the New Village Leadership Academy style of learning could be much better for the youth. The problem is that the school cost $22,000 per year to attend and was closed due to parents learning their child's curriculum was steeped in Scientology. So when Jaden says things like, school is the tool to brainwash the youth, and education is rebellion, it kind of just comes off as a rich boy who had all the resources to be successful and thinks anyone could do it as long as they put their mind to it and work hard. However, in 2010, Jaden would hit his career peak when he starred in the remake of The Karate Kid, a role that catapulted him to global superstardom. As you can imagine, this was Will Smith's idea. Jaden said, "My dad had the idea, and everybody knows in our house that my dad's a little crazy." Okay, he's very crazy. But when he said this, we were like, "Are you sure?" And then we were like, "All right, we're going to listen to you because you're the guy." Little did Jaden know that just blindly listening to his father would eventually lead to disaster. Jaden took the spotlight while his parents took on producer roles, overseeing the film under their production company, Overbrook Entertainment. This film would change a lot of the most iconic parts of the original. Ralph Macchio's 1984 Karate Kid depicts a boy from New Jersey who moves to a California town. For Jaden's Dre Parker in the remake, he's not just the new kid in town. He experiences an unimaginable culture shock when his mother's job forces them to move from Detroit to China. The main character in both adaptations develops animosity towards the class bully and must learn how to defeat him. However, the famous wax-on, wax-off scenes are replaced with a new learning system centered around putting a jacket on and taking it off, hanging it up, and taking it down. Karate, which originated in Okinawa, Japan, is replaced with Chinese Kung Fu. Jerry Weintraub, the original series producer, insisted on using the well-known title even though the film contains no karate. He briefly contemplated changing the title to The Kung Fu Kid before deciding otherwise. Jackie Chan portrays Parker's instructor, Mr. Han, a maintenance man, and secret Kung Fu master who trains Parker to face the bullies at an upcoming Kung Fu tournament. Having Jackie Chan as the main character meant this film was destined for success. Chan
True.
is so widely respected in China that they got production benefits that nobody else could. The Chinese government reportedly agreed to let filming take place at the Great Wall of China, the Forbidden City, and the Wudang Mountains. Then Jaden was given the opportunity to collaborate with the biggest pop star in the world,
Oh,
Justin
boy.
Bieber, for the Karate Kid theme song, adding to the seemingly never-ending list of advantages Jaden had. Never Say Never featured a rap verse from Jaden. This was the first song he ever recorded. The single reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Today, Never Say Never has been certified 5 times platinum and accumulated over 1 billion views on YouTube. The Karate Kid, released in summer of 2010, received positive reviews from critics and grossed over $359 million globally.
God
Nonetheless, the film's success reinforced Jaden's position as a rising star in Hollywood. He was paid a reported salary of $1 million as an upfront fee, but received an additional $2 million bonus after the film was released. Will Smith carefully shaped his son's career up until this point. He was now 12, a global superstar, and basically had a perfect resume. But all of that was about to come crashing down. In 2013, Jaden appeared alongside his father Will in the post-apocalyptic action film After Earth. This was intended
this
to be
movie
the
wasn't all
first
that
installment
good.
of a new franchise. Will intended to launch a multimedia franchise titled 1000 AE. The original plan was that After Earth would be followed by a sequel, then a live-action television series, an animated television series, webisodes, a video game, consumer products, theme park attractions, documentaries, comics, an educational program collaboration in partnership with NASA.
I think this is a bit too much. I think it's a bit too much. It was cool with the movie. I think it was a little cool with the movie, but then it got it's you're doing it too much. It's all good. It's all good.
Cologne and perfume lines, and a social media platform, with Jaden being the face of it all. Will created a plan to essentially turn Jaden into Mickey Mouse, a ubiquitous character that can be milked for billions of dollars through licensing. Once Jaden realized he was just a pawn for his father's billion-dollar business, he tried to exit his own family. After Earth is a film set in a distant future where Earth has become uninhabitable due to environmental catastrophe, and humans have resettled on a new planet called Nova Prime. After Earth centers on General Cypher Rage, played by Will
potential.
Smith, and his son Katai, played by Jaden Smith. Cypher is a legendary military commander known for his ability to ghost, which means he can suppress his fear and become invisible to the alien creatures called Ursa that now threaten humanity. On the other hand, Katai struggles to live up to his father's expectations and lacks the emotional control necessary to ghost. Cypher is critically injured when their spaceship crash lands on Earth, and Katai must embark on a perilous journey to retrieve a rescue beacon that can signal for help. The film primarily focuses on Katai's survival and personal growth as he faces numerous dangers and overcomes his fears. After Earth, through a generic and uncompelling plot, came off as a passion project that potentially reflected Will and Jaden's real-life relationship. The reflection being that Jaden wasn't nearly as talented as his father and needed to desperately work on his craft to be mentioned in the same breath.
I hate this about with like dynamics about with like let's say for example like you have like a parent that's an actor or an actress and then they have kids and then they follow kind of into the same footsteps. This is the same thing that happened with Bruce Lee and then Brandon Lee, his son. There was a lot of pressures that is that they Bruce Lee died unfortunately at the age of 32, and so many pressures was put onto his son. I needed to be very clear. Like it's in sports too. It's sports, movies, all of that. Jackie Chan, his son. That's another example. Is like there's so much pressures it is that they put onto children of people it is who are known are known people. It's like damn, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, like as somebody is just like example within sports. Look at Michael Jordan and then his son. You know, and especially the person it is that Michael Jordan is about to go ahead and marry. You know what I'm saying? I even wholeheartedly am saying she ain't it, gang. But there's so much pressures that is put onto that. I feel like Jaden definitely was like a phenomenal actor. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they was kind of shit on him and saying that is, oh, he'll never amount up to his father. It's like, yo, that's nuts to say that. That's nuts to say that. Like, damn. You said this happened with Jackie Chan's son. It did until it is he made the choice to where it is that he wanted to be dabbling into drugs and everything. And out in Chinese governments, they're very strict when it comes down to that. Like you You trying to go ahead and get yourself involved with that, and then your father, Jackie Chan, is the ambassador of anti-drugs. That ain't gonna go too well. That ain't gonna go too well. You know. Now we've reacted to the video relating into Jackie Chan and his son and his daughter. A lot of people don't know about with the daughter because of the fact that I think believe she is lesbian, but she is part of the LGBTQ plus community. And unfortunately, foreigner cultures, traditional foreigner cultures, do not accept LGBTQ like that. They don't, unfortunately. I'm talking about just traditional foreigner countries that have traditional, you know, ways of when it comes down for the families and stuff like that. I don't like the fact that it's like, he disowned his daughter, but it doesn't. It's not something it is like it's unheard of for traditional Chinese cultures. Unfortunately, do you think Will Smith was jealous of his son because of some men put their son to the test? No, I don't think he was jealous of his son at all. To be honest with you, I feel like he was trying to set his son up for righteousness. It may or may not worked in some cases. Some people think it is that it worked because look at like the amount of stuff it is that Jaden did as a kid. You know what I'm saying? In the movies that he did, the Karate Kid and all that, like he did a phenomenal job. You know what I'm saying? As a child, he did such a phenomenal job. But you gotta realize what it is. Like we've talked about this with child stars, actors, and everything like that. As children, when you get forced into not necessarily forced, but when you're put into this spotlight and also being around with adults and everything like that, and such huge responsibilities and stuff, you don't have a childhood. And it's the same thing with the Jackson 5 and with Joe Jackson, you know what I mean? They never had a childhood, a normal childhood. That man Joe worked them damn kids to be business and performers. He literally beat these children into being performers. That's all it is that they know. That is why Michael Jackson was literally the best performer. Like nobody could have been able to be better than him. Like people are, I would say Beyonce is a very close. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's still to this day, it is that Michael Jackson is in his own entity. We will never get an essence like that ever again, ever. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, when kids don't have like a childhood, um, a lot of times it is like you either get a rebelliousness or you get somewhat of a level of where it is like that person wants to be like the child or have still essence somewhat of their childhood because it isn't never had it. And I don't blame Michael Jackson for wanting it, having a Netherland ranch and wanting to have amusement parks and everything like that because that's something that he never had the chance to do. And people use that against him. I don't like that. People went ahead and used that shit against him because of the fact that he didn't have that, you know? So with Jaden, unfortunately, I just feel like it is his rebelliousness of him. Like some people think that he's weird and everything like that. It's just like, look, when you've been exposed to as such degree as him, as a very young age, I don't necessarily blame him for that. Yeah, like puppets. Yeah, yeah. You gonna be like me, or you better than me, or you gonna like it. Yeah, it's like one of those things, unfortunately.
Perhaps the most ironic part about this film is that it's too realistic. Cypher holds his son's hand while guiding him to success, instead of allowing Katai to find his own path, which is exactly what happened in real life between Will and Jaden. Cypher's demanding expectations and Katai's desire to prove himself create tension within their relationship that evolves as the story progresses. This same tension is reflected in Will and Jaden's relationship months after the film's release. Critics felt that Jaden was handed the opportunity due to his family's connections rather than his acting abilities, which was completely true. Another concern surrounding the film was elements of Scientology, a controversial religion to which the Smith family has been loosely associated with. Despite the star power of Will Smith, After Earth underperformed at the box office. It did not meet the financial expectations set by the studio, leading to financial losses and disappointment for all involved. Although the film made over $243 million on a $130 million budget, the production budget doesn't include the marketing, which cost roughly $100 million. This meant the film's total budget stood somewhere around $230 million, and not to mention the empire that was supposed to be built around it. To add insult to injury, the film received 6 Golden Raspberry Award nominations, with Jaden winning Worst Actor, Will winning Worst Supporting Actor, and together winning Worst screen combo.
Oh,
Will abandoned his
no.
multi-billion-dollar
I'll see you
franchise
later,
plan
Shiny.
and admitted that this destroyed his relationship with Jaden. After Earth was an abysmal box office and critical failure, Will wrote in his memoir, and what was worse was that Jaden took the hit. Fans and the press were absolutely vicious. They said and printed things about Jaden that I refused to repeat. Jaden had faithfully done everything that I'd instructed him to do, and I'd coached him into the worst public mauling he'd ever experienced. We never discussed it, but I knew he felt betrayed, he felt misled, and he lost his trust in my leadership. And Will wasn't lying about the public humiliation. Jaden was eviscerated. South Park made fun of him.
Jaden Smith lets his parents do whatever they want. You know what? The guys at work, they took a bet on who would win in a fight, you or Jaden Smith, and they all said Jaden Smith could kick your ass.
Key and Peele also made fun of him.
I mean, it's hard being Will Smith's son. I just want to make sure my next project reflects that I'm a down-to-earth, normal kid. Am I making any sense?
Not to mention the endless articles and tweets that were being thrown at him every day. All of Jaden's success at this point was because of Will, Pursuit of Happyness, The Karate Kid, even Just Water, which was started with Will's money. Jaden blindly followed his dad because what child wouldn't trust their dad? Plus, it was working. There was an immense pressure to fulfill his dad's vision to become a billion-dollar franchise, and he performed to the best of his capabilities, only for it all to come crashing down and have the world blame Jaden and not Will. Jaden was ruined, angry, and asked his parents if he could be emancipated. Emancipation is a legal process that frees a child who is between the ages of 14 to 17 from the custody and control of their parent or guardian. His parents were heartbroken, but they understood why. They realized it was because of their mistakes that their son didn't feel normal. He ultimately decided to not be emancipated, but he started to pursue a life and career on his own terms. However, this would make people hate him even more. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? If newborn babies could speak, they would be the most intelligent beings on planet Earth. I should just stop tweeting. The human consciousness must raise before I speak my juvenile philosophy. Jaden feeling like he is this profound philosopher that the world can't understand.
This nigga said most trees are blue. I'm sorry, I saw that and it's like, you know what? Hey, listen, you know, that's something that is I would fucking tweet. But you see, the issue is this motherfucker just be talking. Yeah. People tell me to smile and I tell them the lack of emotions in my face doesn't mean I'm unhappy. This I can understand that. Was Moses where I would be if a bookstore never ran out of a certain book? Does that mean nobody reads it or everyone reads it? What kind of high, bro? This is kind of a high question, bro. Like put that motherfucking bond down, bro.
Obviously comes off as extremely pretentious. But he was 14 years old at this point and was finally coming up with his own thoughts, ideas, creations, instead of his parents shaping them for him. In an interview with GQ, he said, "Me and Willow are scientists, so everything for us is a scientific test upon humanity." He even compared himself to the scientific pioneer Galileo. At least now the criticism and bullying Jaden was receiving was because of his own thoughts and ideas and not his father's. He embraced the memes in this video. Jaden Smith reads mind-blowing facts about the universe.
I remember this
The
shit.
human brain takes in 11 million bits of information every second, but is aware only of 40. In an average lifetime, human skin completely replaces itself 900 times. You see your nose all the time. Your brain just chooses to ignore it.
He did become somewhat of a fashion trendsetter.
I didn't think it is that snoring sound would be so form-fitting. Fuck.
Jaden is known for his androgynous fashion style. He frequently wears clothing that blurs the lines between traditional men's and women's fashion, incorporating elements like skirts, dresses, oversized clothing, and bold patterns. In 5 years,
This
when a
is a
kid goes to
Boondocks
school wearing a
episode.
skirt, he won't get beat up, and kids won't get mad at him. He even wore outfits like a white Batman suit to prom, the Met Gala, and Kim and Kanye's wedding. But this continued to get him bullied by haters. His tweet stating that Tyler the Creator was his boyfriend just added more fuel to the fire. Their alleged relationship was never confirmed nor denied, but his ambiguity inspired many people around the world. Every new venture seemed to give his haters more material to use against him, but that changed with his album Sire, which even his biggest opposers admit was pretty good. While the lyrics still feel like his signature "I'm 14 and this is deep" style, the production is a 10 out of 10. No exaggeration, this is one of the
Icon. Listen, him Him coming out with Icon, bro, that fucking song is so goddamn fire.
Best produced melodic hip hop albums of the 2010s. The most prominent single on the project was Icon, which, despite not charting on the Billboard Hot 100, it did go 2 times platinum in the United States, while the music video accumulated over 184 million views on YouTube. And this track is nothing short of a banger. Many people criticize him for calling himself an icon.
I think what it means to be an icon is being able to take extreme amounts of hate. The only reason that they receive that hate is because they do things that other people don't do.
Following Sire, Jaden released
That's a good
Theories
response.
in 2019, an album that delved into darker themes and explored a more experimental sound. Nobody wants to feel bad for a kid that was born in the 0.001% of society. He has attempted to use his own status as Will Smith's son as a disadvantage. If I were white and not Will Smith's silly son, I would be the most respected philosopher of our and all
A
time.
stretch.
I always
A
knew no
stretch.
one was going to understand me. I felt about life differently than other kids. I could tell by the way they treated me. It is hard to live in the shadow of someone else. Jaden's biggest failures are by trusting his dad's vision. Some of Jaden's worst takes are from the perspective of a teenager trying to develop his own uniqueness. He just did it in front of the whole world. As he
Right.
got older, he extended his privilege onto others. His long list of charitable endeavors includes Misfits Rep, the sustainable and eco-friendly fashion brand which promotes ethical manufacturing processes and the use of sustainable materials. The Water Box, a filtration system that helps provide clean water nationwide.
Shit. Will Smith know that feeling too. Look at Tupac. You had to say it, didn't you?
He also opened a mobile restaurant where homeless people can eat for free. I Love You launched in 2019, started as a vegan food truck where Jaden aimed to provide free, healthy, sustainable meals to the homeless community in Los Angeles'
I didn't know
Skid Row
this.
area.
This is
He may
actually
have been a
fire.
cringe Nepo baby, but it seems like he at least uses it to do some good in the world.
Right.
Plus, nothing Jaden has ever said or done will be more embarrassing than the public humiliation Will Smith has been subject to over the past few years.
Yeah, from his wife. From his damn wife at that. He said F Jada. Man, it's embarrassing, bro. It's just like, yeah, they had an entanglement with August. An entanglement. An entanglement. I didn't even know what the fuck that word meant until it is. She said that on that show. But shout out to Patrick CC, W video, like, you know what I'm saying? W motherfucking video, per the usual, Now, calling Will Smith a cuck is crazy. Jesus Christ. But hey, listen, I'm on for this thing, bro.